Noah Sinclair had everything: wealth, power, and a wedding at New York's Grand St. Patrick's Cathedral. But when his bride left him at the altar, his world crumbled. Seeking escape, he found himself in a quiet town, and in the orbit of a woman who saw the man, not the fortune. Could heartbreak be the beginning of something real? Before we get into the story, comment below where in the world you are watching from today. The magnificent St. Patrick's Cathedral in New York City was packed with over 300 guests. White roses and orchids decorated every corner, and a string quartet played softly in the background. Noah Sinclair, standing tall in his custom black tuxedo, checked his watch for the third time in 5 minutes. "Relax, man. Victoria is just being fashionably late," said James, Noah's best friend and best man, patting him on the shoulder. "That's what brides do." Noah nodded, but couldn't shake the uneasiness in his stomach. At 35, he was finally taking the plunge after years of focusing only on his business empire. The Sinclair name was attached to luxury hotels around the world, and financial magazines regularly featured him on their covers. But today wasn't about business. Today was supposed to be about love. Victoria Hartwell, daughter of a senator, had swept into Noah's life at a charity gala 18 months ago. Beautiful, sophisticated, and from the right social circle, she seemed perfect. His parents, especially his father, William Sinclair, couldn't have been more pleased. "She's the right kind of woman for a Sinclair," his father had said after meeting her. The cathedral doors opened and Noah's heart jumped. But it was just a late guest. 20 minutes had passed since the ceremony was supposed to start. Whispers began circulating among the guests. Noah's phone buzzed. It was a text from Victoria's maid of honor. "She wants to talk to you. Come to the bride's room. Now." "Something's wrong," Noah muttered to James before heading to the back of the cathedral. When he entered the bride's room, Victoria was still in her robe, her wedding dress hanging untouched on the wall. Her makeup was perfect, but her eyes were cold. "Noah," she said, not getting up from her chair, "I can't do this." The world seemed to stop. "What are you talking about? If you're nervous—" "I'm not nervous," Victoria interrupted. "I've been thinking about this for weeks. I thought I could go through with it, but I can't." Noah felt like someone had punched him in the stomach. "Weeks? You've been having doubts for weeks, and you wait until now with everyone out there." "I'm sorry," she said, but her voice lacked emotion. "You're a good man, Noah, but this isn't what I want." "What happened?" Noah asked, struggling to keep his voice steady. "Just tell me what changed," Victoria sighed. "Nothing changed, that's the problem. You're all about work, building your empire. Even our honeymoon was scheduled around your business meetings in Paris." "I cancelled those meetings, you know I did." "It's not just that." She twisted the 5-carat diamond engagement ring on her finger. "I need someone who puts me first, always." The door opened, and Senator Hartwell, Victoria's father, walked in. His expression was a mixture of embarrassment and anger. "Noah, I'm sorry about this," he said stiffly, "but perhaps it's for the best." Noah looked between them, a horrible realization dawning. "This isn't just about me working too much, is it? There's someone else." Victoria's silence was answer enough. "How long?" Noah demanded. "It doesn't matter," Senator Hartwell interjected. "What matters is avoiding a scene. We can tell the guests there was a medical emergency." Noah laughed bitterly. "A medical emergency? 300 people are sitting out there, including every important business contact I have, my entire family. And you want me to lie?" "Noah, please." Victoria finally stood up. "Don't make this harder than it has to be." "Harder for who? You?" Noah felt something breaking inside him. "You know what? You're right. I'm all about business. So let's handle this like business." He walked to the door, then turned back. "You can keep the ring. Consider it payment for showing me who you really are before it was too late." Noah strode down the corridor, James rushing to meet him halfway. "What's going on?" James asked, concerned. "The wedding's off," Noah said flatly. "Victoria decided she doesn't want to marry me after all." "What now? Is this some kind of joke?" "I wish it was." Noah straightened his tie. "Come with me. I need to tell everyone." Despite James's protests and Victoria's father's attempts to stop him, Noah walked back into the main Hall of the cathedral. The music stopped as he approached the altar. The crowd fell silent, sensing something was wrong. Noah cleared his throat, his voice echoing in the vast space. I want to thank everyone for coming today. Unfortunately, I have to inform you that there won't be a wedding. Victoria has decided not to marry me. Gasps filled the cathedral. Noah could see his mother covering her mouth in shock, his father's face turning red with anger and embarrassment. The reception at the plaza is cancelled, but I've arranged for the food to be donated to the city shelter. Again, thank you for coming. With that, Noah walked straight down the aisle and out the cathedral doors, ignoring the eruption of whispers and the flashing cameras of society photographers who would ensure his humiliation made headlines by evening. Outside, ignoring the calls from his family and friends, Noah got into his black Bentley and drove away. His phone rang continuously, but he turned it off. He drove for hours with no destination in mind, eventually finding himself on the highway heading north out of the city. 3 days later, Noah sat in a small motel room in a town called Pine Grove, staring at the newspaper in his hands. As expected, his humiliation was front-page news in the society section. Sinclair left at the altar, hotel heir's wedding disaster. Accompanying the article was a photo of him walking out of the cathedral alone, his face a mask of controlled pain. He'd turned, his phone on briefly to let his assistant know he was alive, but gave no details of his whereabouts. There were dozens of missed calls and messages, from his parents, James, business associates, and even one from Victoria that he deleted without reading. Noah tossed the newspaper into the trash and looked around the basic motel room, a far cry from the luxury suites of his own hotels. But that was the point. No one would look for Noah Sinclair in a place like this. His laptop dinged with an email notification. It was from James, with a link to another news article. Against his better judgment, Noah clicked it. The headline made his stomach turn. Victoria Hartwell spotted in Hamptons with tech billionaire X. The photos showed Victoria looking cozy with Ryan Patterson, founder of a social media platform, and her ex-boyfriend from before she met Noah. So that's who it was, Noah muttered, slamming his laptop shut. He grabbed his jacket and left the motel room needing fresh air. Pine Grove was a small town with a main street lined with local businesses. A diner, a hardware store, a small movie theater, and at the corner a bookstore called Page Turner. Without much thought, Noah walked into the bookstore, seeking a quiet place to clear his head. The shop was cozy, with shelves packed with books and the scent of coffee in the air. A small counter with a coffee machine stood in the corner. "Can I help you find something?" Noah turned to see a young woman with warm brown eyes and chestnut hair pulled back in a simple ponytail. Her smile was genuine, unlike the practiced smiles he was used to in his social circle. "Just browsing," he replied, his voice rough from lack of use over the past few days. "Take your time," she said. "I'm Leah, by the way. If you need recommendations, I'm full of them, whether you want them or not." She smiled again, a dimple appearing in her right cheek. "Thanks," Noah managed, turning toward a shelf of fiction. "Books." He picked up a novel randomly, not really seeing the title, just needing something to occupy his hands. From the corner of his eye, he watched Leah help an elderly customer find a mystery novel, chatting easily about the author's other works. There was something refreshing about her, an authenticity that seemed rare in his world. After selecting a book he thought might distract him, Noah approached the counter where Leah was now arranging a display of new releases. "Found something good?" she asked, taking the book from him. "I hope so," Noah said, glancing at the title he'd chosen. "The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna." "Oh, excellent choice," Leah said enthusiastically. "It's about survival and resilience in Alaska. Pretty intense in parts, but beautiful." Noah nodded, suddenly interested in the book he'd picked randomly. "Sounds appropriate." Leah rang up his purchase. "Are you visiting Pine Grove? I don't think I've seen you around before." "Just passing through," Noah said, not ready to explain more. "Well, the coffee shop across the street makes a great apple pie if you're hungry. The diner down the block has better meals, though." Noah handed her his credit card, forgetting for a moment that it had his full name on it. Leah glanced at it, then at him, but her expression didn't change. Either she didn't recognize his name or she was good at hiding it. "Thanks for the recommendations," Noah said, taking his book and receipt. "Enjoy your book, Mr. Sinclair," Leah said, that genuine smile appearing again. "Come back and tell me what you think when you're done." For the first time in days, Noah felt the corner of his mouth twitch upward in the shadow of a smile. "Maybe I will." That night in his motel room, Noah started reading the novel. The story of a family facing harsh conditions in the Alaskan wilderness made his own problems seem different, if not smaller. He read until his eyes grew heavy, finally falling into the first restful sleep he'd had since the wedding disaster. The next morning, Noah found himself walking back to the main street of Pine Grove. He told himself it was for coffee, but his feet led him straight to Page Turner. Through the window, he could see Leah arranging books on a display table. Despite everything, he felt drawn to the small bookstore and the woman whose smile seemed to hold no agenda. As he opened the door, the small bell above it jingled. Leah looked up and her face brightened with recognition. "Mr. Sinclair, back already? Don't tell me you finished that book overnight." Noah felt the weight on his shoulders lighten just a little. "Not quite," he admitted. "But I thought I might need another one soon, and maybe a recommendation for a place to stay that's not the Pine Grove Motel." Leah leaned on the counter, that dimple appearing again as she smiled. "Well, you're in luck. Book recommendations and local knowledge are my specialties." For the first time since leaving the cathedral, Noah felt something other than humiliation and anger. It was small, barely noticeable, but it was there, a tiny spark of interest in what tomorrow might bring. Unknown to Noah, as he chatted with Leah about local accommodations, his assistant was already tracking his credit card activity. By evening, his family would know exactly where to find him. But in this moment, in the quiet bookstore in Pine Grove, Noah Sinclair was just a man talking to a woman who saw nothing but another human being in need of a good book and perhaps a friendly face. Noah woke up in his new accommodations, a small but charming guest house on Maple Street that Leah had recommended. It was owned by an older couple, the Johnsons, who didn't seem to recognize him or his last name. The quiet simplicity of the place was exactly what he needed. His phone buzzed. It was James again. "You can't ignore everyone forever," James said when Noah finally answered. "Your parents are worried sick. The board members are asking questions and the press won't stop calling." "Let them talk," Noah said, staring out the window at the small garden behind the guest house. "I needed to get away." "I get that. But hiding in some small town isn't going to fix anything. Your father is threatening to step back into the CEO position if you don't return soon." Noah gripped the phone tighter. William Sinclair had officially retired 3 years ago, but he still wielded considerable influence. "He can't do that. He's saying it's a mental health leave. Noah, you need to come back and show everyone you're fine." "Maybe I'm not fine," Noah admitted, surprising himself with his honesty. "I just got humiliated in front of everyone I know. I found out my fiancée was probably cheating on me with her ex. I think I'm entitled to some time away." "Of course you are," James softened his tone. "But at least tell your mother you're okay. She doesn't deserve to worry." Noah sighed. "Fine, I'll call her. But I'm not coming back yet." After a brief, emotional call with his mother where he promised he was safe and just needed time, Noah decided to walk into town. He found himself heading toward the bookstore again. Inside Page Turner, Leah was helping a group of children pick out books. Her face lit up with enthusiasm as she described different stories, making each one sound like an adventure waiting to happen. The children hung on her every word, clearly charmed by her excitement. Noah waited by a shelf, pretending to browse while watching the scene. When the children left with their parents, Leah spotted him and smiled. "Mr. Sinclair, how's the guest house working out for you?" "Please, call me Noah," he said, realizing he preferred the way his name sounded without the weight of his last name. "And the guest house is perfect. Thank you for the recommendation." "You're welcome, Noah," she said, emphasizing his first name with another smile. "Did you finish your book already?" "Almost. It's helping," he admitted. Leah seemed to understand what he meant. Books have a way of giving us perspective. Sometimes it's easier to process our own feelings through someone else's story. A customer approached the counter with a question, and Leah excused herself. Noah watched as she helped the woman find a cookbook, chatting easily about recipes and local ingredients. When she returned, Noah found himself asking, "Do you own this place?" Leah nodded proudly. "For about 3 years now. It was my dream since I was a kid. My grandmother left me just enough money to make a down payment, and I took a big risk. Some months are tighter than others, but I love it." Noah looked around the store with new eyes, noting the thoughtful organization, the comfortable reading nook in the corner, and the carefully curated displays. "You've done a great job. It feels welcoming." "That's the highest compliment you could give me," Leah said, that dimple appearing again. "What about you? What do you do when you're not passing through small towns?" Noah hesitated. For the first time in years, he was enjoying being seen as just a person, not the Sinclair heir. "I work in hospitality," he said vaguely. "Like hotels?" Leah asked. "Something like that," Noah replied, relieved when another customer entered, saving him from further explanation. "Well, since you're sticking around, you should know we have a book club meeting tonight at 7, Leah said as she moved toward the new customer. "Nothing fancy, just discussion and snacks. You're welcome to join." Noah wasn't a book club kind of person, he never had been, but something about the simple invitation touched him. "I'll think about it," he said. Later that evening, Noah surprised himself by walking back to Page Turner at 7 o'clock. Through the window, he could see a small group gathered in the reading nook. Leah was passing out glasses of wine and laughing at something someone had said. For a moment, he almost turned away. These people were strangers. This wasn't his world. But then Leah looked up and saw him through the window. Her smile and wave were so genuine that his feet moved forward almost of their own accord. "You came," Leah said as he entered. "Everyone, this is Noah. He's staying in town for a while. Noah's, meet the Tuesday night book club." The group welcomed him warmly. There was Mark, the local high school English teacher, Eleanor, who ran the bakery down the street, Tom and Sarah, a retired couple, and Diane, the town librarian. None of them seemed to recognize him, and the conversation focused entirely on the book they'd been discussing, a mystery novel Noah hadn't read. "Don't worry," Leah whispered, handing him a glass of wine. "You don't have to contribute, just enjoy the company." And surprisingly, he did. The conversation was animated but thoughtful, and when they occasionally drew him in with a question about his opinion on mysteries or favorite authors, he found himself answering honestly, rather than trying to sound impressive. As the evening wound down, Leah walked with Noah to the door after the others had left. "Thanks for coming," she said. "I hope it wasn't too boring for you." "It wasn't boring at all," Noah replied truthfully. "It was nice." Leah studied his face for a moment. "You look like someone who doesn't have nice very often in his life." The observation was so accurate, it caught Noah off guard. "Is it that obvious?" Leah shrugged. "I'm good at reading people. It comes with the territory when you're around books all day." Noah found himself wanting to tell her everything, about Victoria, the wedding, his family's expectations, but he held back. He wasn't ready to become Noah Sinclair, jilted billionaire in her. "Highs? Well, thank you for including me," he said instead. "Any time," Leah replied. "We're here every Tuesday, and I'm here every day if you need more book recommendations or just someone to talk to." The following morning, Noah's peaceful breakfast at the local diner was interrupted when his father called. "This has gone on long enough," William Sinclair said without preamble. "The board meeting is in 3 days. You need to be there." "I told you I'm taking some time." "Time's up," his father interrupted. "Victoria Hartwell is old news. The press has moved on to other scandals. It's time for you to come back and do your job." Noah felt a familiar tension building in his chest. His father had always been able to make him feel like a failure with just a few words. "The company is stable. My team can handle things for a few more days." "It's not about the company," William lowered his voice. "It's about perception. Every day you hide out in that town, you look weaker. Is that the image you want, the abandoned groom who ran away?" The words hit their mark. Noah's jaw tightened. "I'll think about it." "Don't think. Act. That's what I taught you." After hanging up, Noah sat staring at his coffee. His father was right about one thing: hiding wouldn't solve anything. But the thought of returning to New York, facing the pitying looks and whispered comments, made his stomach turn. Without conscious decision, he found himself walking to Page Turner again. The bell jingled as he entered, and Leah looked up from where she was helping an elderly man select an audiobook. "Just a minute," she mouthed to Noah with a quick smile, before turning her full attention back to her customer. Noah browsed aimlessly, not really seeing the books in front of him. His mind was caught between his father's demands and his own desire to stay hidden a little longer. "You look like you're carrying the weight of the world today," Leah said, approaching him after her customer left. "Bad news?" Noah sighed. "Family stuff, work stuff. Reality catching up with me, I guess." Leah nodded sympathetically. "Want to talk about it over coffee?" I was about to take my lunch break. Noah hesitated, then nodded. "That would be nice." Leah flipped the sign on the door to "Back in 30 minutes, and they walked to the coffee shop across the street. They found a quiet table in the corner, and after ordering, Leah looked at him expectantly. "So, what's the reality that's catching up with you?" Noah took a deep breath. "I have to go back to New York soon." "For work?" "Ah," Leah nodded. "And you're not ready?" "It's complicated," Noah admitted. "Most things worth talking about are," Leah said, thanking the waitress as their coffee arrived. "I'm a good listener, if you want to uncomplicate it." Something about her open expression made Noah want to trust her. Maybe it was because she was a stranger. Maybe it was because she seemed genuinely interested without any agenda. "I was supposed to get married last week," he said finally, the words feeling strange on his tongue. "But my fiancée changed her mind at the last minute, with everyone already at the cathedral." Leah's eyes widened. "Oh, Noah, I'm so sorry. It was..." He searched for words. "Humiliating doesn't begin to cover it." "So you came here to escape," Leah said softly. "That makes sense now." Noah nodded. "I needed to get away from the gossip, the questions, the pity. But my father is right. I can't hide forever. Your father sounds..." Leah paused, seeming to search for a diplomatic word. "Demanding, controlling, a perfectionist who never taught me it was okay to fail," Noah suggested with a bitter smile. "I was going to say concerned, but your words paint a clearer picture," Leah said gently. Noah laughed slightly, the sound rusty. "Sorry, my relationship with my father is another complicated thing." "And what about your relationship with yourself?" Leah asked, sipping her coffee. "Are you okay?" The question caught Noah off guard. No one in his life ever asked if he was okay, not really. They asked about business deals, stock prices, social appearances, but not about him. "I don't know," he answered honestly. "I thought Victoria was different. I thought she saw me, not just my name or my bank account. Finding out she didn't has made me question everything." Leah reached across the table and briefly touched his hand. "For what it's worth, I think she's the one who lost something valuable, not you." Noah felt warmth spread through him at her words and the simple touch. "You don't even know me." "I know enough," Leah said simply. "You're kind to Mrs. Johnson at the guest house. She told me you fixed her leaky faucet yesterday. You listened attentively at book club even though you hadn't read the book. And you have sad eyes that light up when you talk about something you care about." Noah stared at her, speechless for a moment. "You're very observant." "It's a gift and a curse," she said with a small smile. "So when do you have to go back?" "There's a board meeting in 3 days. I should be there," Leah nodded. "Then you have 3 days to enjoy Pine Grove. Have you seen the lake yet? Or the hiking trails? This place has a way of healing people if you let it." The thought of returning to New York seemed a little less daunting after talking with Leah. "I'd like to see more of the town. Would you be willing to show me around? When you're not working, of course." The dimple reappeared as Leah smiled. "I closed the store at 5 today. The lake is beautiful at sunset." For the first time since the wedding disaster, Noah felt a flutter of something that might have been happiness. "It's a date," he said, then quickly corrected himself. "I mean, not a date, just..." Leah laughed, the sound bright and genuine. "I knew what you meant, but I wouldn't mind if it was a date either." Noah felt a blush rise to his cheeks. something that hadn't happened since he was a teenager. 5 o'clock then. The rest of the day passed in a strange mix of anxiety and anticipation. Noah took care of some work emails, had a brief conversation with his assistant about rescheduling meetings, and then changed his shirt 3 times before heading back to the bookstore at 5. Leah was locking up when he arrived, looking different in jeans and a light blue sweater, instead of the more professional clothes she wore during business hours. "Right on time," she said with a smile. "Ready to see the prettiest spot in Pine Grove." They walked together through the small town, Leah pointing out places of interest: the historic town hall, the diner that served the best pie in the county, the community theater where she volunteered. "You really love this town," Noah observed. "I do," Leah admitted. "I grew up here, moved away for college, tried the big city thing for a while, but Pine Grove always felt like home." "What city did you try?" Noah asked, curious about her past. "Boston, for college, then New York for 2 years after that." Noah stopped walking. "You lived in New York?" Leah nodded. "I worked at a big publishing house. The job looked perfect on paper, working with books, decent salary, exciting city. But I was miserable. The pace, the pressure, the constant competition. It wasn't me." "So you came back here and opened your own bookstore," Noah finished for her. "Exactly. Much less money, much more happiness." She looked at him curiously. "You work in New York too, don't you?" Noah nodded, not elaborating. "It suits some people," Leah continued, "just not me." They reached the lake just as the sun was beginning to set. The water reflected the orange and pink sky, and a small wooden dock extended into the calm surface. "What did I tell you?" Leah said, gesturing to the view. "Pretty spectacular, right?" Noah had seen views from penthouses, mountaintop resorts, and private islands, but there was something about this simple lake, with its perfect reflection of the sky, that touched him deeply. "It's beautiful," he agreed, his voice soft. They sat at the end of the dock, feet dangling above the water, watching the colors deepen. As the sun sank lower, neither felt the need to fill the silence with words. Finally, Leah spoke. "Whatever's waiting for you back in New York, you'll handle it. You're stronger than you think." Noah turned to look at her, struck by how the fading light illuminated her profile. "How can you be so sure? You barely know me." Leah met his gaze. "Because hurt people have 2 choices. Let the pain make them harder, or let it make them more compassionate. You chose the second option. That takes strength." In that moment, Noah wanted nothing more than to kiss her. But it was too soon, the wounds from Victoria still too fresh. Instead, he simply said, "Thank you." Leah seemed to understand what went unsaid. She smiled and turned back to the sunset. "You're welcome." As darkness fell and they walked back to town, Noah realized that for the first time in years, he wasn't thinking about business deals or social obligations or his father's expectations. He was simply present, enjoying the company of a woman who seemed to see past all his defenses, but a part of him knew this peaceful interlude couldn't last. Soon he would have to return to being Noah Sinclair, CEO of Sinclair Hotels, and when Leah discovered who he really was, everything would change. She would see him differently, the way everyone else did. The thought cast a shadow over his newfound contentment. He had less than 3 days left in Pine Grove, and he was already dreading the moment he would have to say goodbye to the first person in years who made him feel like just a man, not a fortune. What Noah didn't know was that Leah had recognized his name from the beginning. She'd seen the news about the jilted hotel heir, but she'd chosen to let him have his anonymity, waiting for him to trust her enough to share his truth in his own time. And unknown to both of them, someone else had discovered Noah's whereabouts. Victoria Hartwell was already planning a visit to Pine Grove, having decided that perhaps she'd made a mistake after all. The small-town peace Noah had found was about to be shattered. The next morning, Noah woke up feeling lighter than he had in weeks. His time with Leah at the lake had given him a sense of peace he hadn't experienced in years. After a quick breakfast, he decided to take a walk around Pine Grove before stopping by the bookstore. His phone buzzed with a text from James. "Board members calming down after I showed them your email about working remotely. But your father is still on the warpath, call him." Noah sighed and put the phone away. He'd deal with his father later. Right now, he wanted to hold on to this newfound tranquility for as long as possible. As he rounded the corner to Main Street, Noah spotted Leah outside her bookstore, arranging a display of sale books on a table. She was wearing a simple green dress that made her brown eyes look even warmer. Her face lit up when she saw him. "Good morning," she called. "Sleep well?" "Better than I have in a long time," Noah admitted, helping her straighten a stack of books. Thad was about to topple over. "Must be the fresh country air," Leah said with a smile. "Or maybe the lack of city noise. Or maybe the company," Noah replied before he could stop himself. A blush crept up Leah's cheeks. "Careful, Mr. New York. That almost sounds like flirting." Noah laughed, surprised at how easy it felt. "Would that be so terrible?" Leah pretended to consider the question. "I suppose I could tolerate it for a little while." The moment was interrupted by Noah's phone ringing loudly. His father's name flashed on the screen. "You should probably get that," Leah said, noticing his expression. "I need to open the store anyway. Come by later if you want." Noah nodded, answering the phone as Leah disappeared inside. "Hello, Father." "I've given you space," William Sinclair said without preamble. "I've respected your need to process what happened, but this has gone on long enough." Noah walked away from the bookstore, not wanting Leah to overhear. "I'm handling my responsibilities remotely. The company is fine. This isn't just about the company, and you know it. The annual charity gala is this weekend. The Sinclairs have hosted it for 30 years. Your absence would be noticed and commented on." Noah had completely forgotten about the gala. It was one of the biggest social events of the year, raising millions for children's hospitals across the country. "I've already told everyone you'll be there," his father continued. "The press release went out yesterday." "You had no right to do that," Noah said, anger rising in his voice. "I had every right. I'm still chairman of the board, and this event is crucial for our public image. Victoria and her family will be there, by the way." Noah felt like he'd been punched in the stomach. "What? Why would they be invited after what happened?" "The Hartwells are major donors. We can't exclude them because of your personal issues." "This is business, Noah. I taught you to separate the two." Noah paced along the sidewalk, fighting to control his temper. "You're unbelievable." "I'm practical," William countered, "and it's time you remembered how to be as well. A car will pick you up tomorrow morning to bring you back to the city. I'm not a child. You can't just send a car for me like I'm being picked up from summer camp. Then stop acting like a child hiding from his problems. Be at the gala, Noah. Show everyone that a Sinclair doesn't break no matter what." The call ended, leaving Noah seething. His peaceful morning had been shattered. The real world was calling, and he couldn't ignore it any longer. Later that afternoon, Noah returned to the bookstore. It was busy with customers, so he browsed quietly, waiting for a chance to talk to Leah. He watched as she helped a young mother find books for her children, her patience and genuine interest in matching each child with the right book evident in every recommendation. When the rush finally died down, Leah approached him. "You look troubled. Bad phone call?" Noah nodded. "My father, I have to go back to New York tomorrow. There's an event I can't miss." "Oh." Leah's disappointment was visible before she masked it with a smile. "Well, we knew you couldn't stay in Pine Grove forever." "I wish I could," Noah said, surprising himself with his honesty. "These few days have been... I don't know how to explain it. It's like I could breathe again." Leah leaned against a bookshelf. "Pine Grove has that effect on people. It's simple here, uncomplicated." "It's not just the town," Noah said, meeting her eyes. "It's you, Leah. You've shown me kindness without wanting anything in return. That's rare in my world." Leah looked away, a conflict visible on her face. "Noah, there's something I should tell you." The bell above the door jingled as a customer entered, interrupting whatever Leah had been about to say. "Sorry," she said. "Hold that thought." Noah nodded, and Leah went to help the new customer. He wandered through the store, thinking about what he wanted to say before he left town. Just a few days, this woman had come to mean something to him. The thought of going back to New York without telling her how he felt seemed wrong. When Leah finished with the customer, Noah approached her again. "Have dinner with me tonight, before I leave. There's a lot I want to tell you." Leah hesitated, then nodded. I'd like that. The Italian place down the street is actually pretty good. I close at 7. I'll pick you up here at 7:15, Noah said, relief washing over him. That evening, Noah dressed carefully in the best clothes he had brought to Pine Grove, dark jeans and a blue button-down shirt. He arrived at the bookstore right on time and found Leah waiting, wearing a simple black dress that made her look elegant and approachable at the same time. The Italian restaurant was small but charming, with checkered tablecloths and candles in empty wine bottles. After they ordered, Noah took a deep breath. Before I go back to New York, there's something I need to tell you, he began. I haven't been completely honest about who I am. Leah looked down at her wine glass. Noah, Please, let me finish, he said gently. My name is Noah Sinclair. My family owns Sinclair Hotels. The wedding that didn't happen was supposed to be the social event of the season. It made all the papers when Victoria left me at the altar. He waited for her reaction. Shock, surprise, maybe the calculating look he'd seen in so many people's eyes when they realized how wealthy he was. Instead, Leah met his gaze steadily. I know who you are, Noah. I recognized your name the first day you came into my store. Now it was Noah's turn to be shocked. You knew? All this time? Leah nodded. I saw the news. Your picture was everywhere for a few days. Why didn't you say anything? Noah asked, confused. Because you clearly came here to escape all that. You wanted to be just Noah, not Noah Sinclair of the Sinclair Hotels. I figured you'd tell me when you were ready. Noah sat back, processing this revelation. So all this time, when we talked, when you showed me the lake, you knew exactly who I was. I knew your name and what happened at your wedding, Leah clarified. That's not the same as knowing who you are. I've been getting to know that person, the man who fixes Mrs. Johnson's faucet and reads Kristen Hanna novels and loves watching the sunset. Noah felt a mix of emotions, relief that he didn't have to explain his past, amazement at Leah's discretion, and a growing warmth in his chest as he realized she had seen him as just a man all along. Thank you, he said simply. For giving me that. Leah smiled. Everyone deserves to be seen for who they really are. And who am I, Leah? When you look at me, what do you see? I see a kind man who's been hurt, who's lived his life trying to meet other people's expectations, who's smart and funny when he lets his guard down, who has more depth than he gives himself credit for. Her words touched something deep inside him. In that moment, Noah realized he was falling for this woman who ran a small bookstore in a town he'd never heard of 2 weeks ago. I don't want to go back, he admitted. For the first time in my life, I'm considering walking away from everything, the company, the responsibilities, all of it. Leah reached across the table and took his hand. That's the fear talking. You'd regret it. Eventually, your life in New York is part of who you are too. But everything's different now. I see things differently after being here, after meeting you. Then take that perspective back with you, Leah suggested. You don't have to choose between being Noah Sinclair, CEO, and being the man I've gotten to know here. You can be both. Noah squeezed her hand. Will you come to New York, visit me? I want to show you my world, the way you've shown me yours. Before Leah could answer, Noah's phone rang. He glanced at it, ready to ignore the call, but froze when he saw James's name. I'm sorry, I need to take this. It's my best friend, and he wouldn't call unless it was important. Leah nodded understanding as Noah answered. James, I'm in the middle of dinner. Victoria is on her way to find you, James interrupted, his voice urgent. She had some big fight with Ryan Patterson, and now she's telling everyone she made a huge mistake. Her assistant let slip that she found out where you are and took the company helicopter an hour ago. Noah felt the blood drain from his face. Victoria is coming here, to Pine Grove. Across the table, Leah's eyes widened. Yes, and that's not all, James continued. She's bringing a reporter from Society Pages with her. She's planning to make a big public apology and ask for another chance, all documented for a feature story. This can't be happening, Noah said, running a hand through his hair. How did she even find out where I am? Your father told her, James said grimly. He thinks this would be the perfect solution to all the negative press, the happy reunion, the second chance at love. It's a better story than the jilted groom. Noah's stomach churned with anger and disbelief. When will they get here? The helicopter was scheduled to land at the regional airport about 20 minutes ago. They'll have a car waiting. I guess you have maybe 30 minutes before they track you down. Thanks for the warning, Noah said, hanging up. Leah was looking at him with concern. Your ex-fiancé is coming here. Noah quickly explained the situation, watching as Leah's expression shifted from concern to disbelief. She's bringing a reporter to ambush you with some public reconciliation? Leah shook her head. That's just cruel. That's Victoria, Noah said bitterly. Everything is about image and publicity. What are you going to do? Leah asked. Noah's mind raced. He could hide, but that would only delay the inevitable. He could confront Victoria, but doing so in front of a reporter would only create more drama. There was really only one option. I need to leave now before she finds me. Go back to New York tonight instead of tomorrow. Disappointment flickered across Leah's face, but she nodded. I think that's wise. You should be able to control how and when you see her again. Noah signaled for the check, then looked at Leah intently. Come with me. What? She blinked in surprise. Come to New York. Tonight. You can stay at my guest apartment. I'll show you the city, not as a tourist, but as a local. Please, Leah. I'm not ready to say goodbye. Leah hesitated. Noah, this is crazy. I have a bookstore to run. I can't just leave. Just for the weekend, Noah pressed. Eleanor from the book club could watch the store for you, couldn't she? You said she's helped out before. Yes, but I know it's sudden, Noah acknowledged. But something is happening between us, Leah. I think you feel it too. Don't you want to see where it might lead? Leah's expression softened. Of course I do, but rushing off to New York to escape your ex-fiancé isn't exactly a solid foundation for whatever this is becoming. Noah paid the bill, then took both her hands in his. You're right, but I'm not asking you to rescue me from Victoria. I'm asking for a chance to show you my world, the way you've shown me yours, to find out if what we're feeling can exist outside of Pine Grove. A commotion outside the restaurant caught their attention. Through the window they could see a sleek black car pulling up. A blonde woman in an expensive designer outfit stepped out, followed by a man with a camera. That's her, Noah said, his voice tight. We need to go. Now. They slipped out the back, cut out of the restaurant, just as Victoria and the reporter entered through the front. Noah led Leah through back alleys until they reached the guest house. I need 10 minutes to pack my things, Noah said, out of breath from their hasty retreat. Will you come with me? Please. Leah looked torn. This is happening so fast. No, Noah said, touching her cheek gently. And I would never pressure you. If you want to stay, I understand. But I meant what I said at dinner. These past few days with you have changed something in me. I don't want to lose that feeling. Leah took a deep breath, then nodded. Okay, I'll come. But just for the weekend. And I need to call Elena and make arrangements for the store. Relief washed over Noah. Thank you, I'll get my things and call for a car. Meet me back here in 30 minutes. They parted ways, Noah rushing into the guest house while Leah hurried home to pack. As he threw his belongings into his bag, Noah's mind raced. Was he being impulsive, asking Leah to come to New York? Was he just using her as a shield against Victoria? No, he realized. What he felt for Leah was real, more real than anything he'd felt for Victoria. With Victoria, he'd been following a script. Successful businessman marries socially appropriate woman. With Leah, he was writing his own story for the first time. 30 minutes later, a black SUV pulled up to the guest house. Noah loaded his bag inside just as Leah approached, carrying a small overnight bag. Elena agreed to watch the store, she said, looking both nervous and excited. I still think this is crazy. The best stories usually are, Noah replied with a smile, taking her bag and helping her into the car. As they drove out of Pine Grove, Noah felt a mixture of regret at leaving this peaceful haven and anticipation about showing Leah his world. He hoped she wouldn't be overwhelmed by it, by the wealth, the social pressure, the constant scrutiny. What he didn't know was that Victoria had already discovered they'd slipped away. Furious at being outwitted, She had gotten Noah's New York address from his father and changed her plans. Instead of a reconciliation in Pine Grove, she would create an even bigger scene at the charity gala. And Leah, despite her confident words, to Noah, was harboring her own doubts. She had seen the beautiful, sophisticated Victoria through the restaurant window. How could a small-town bookstore owner compete with that kind of polished perfection? Was she setting herself up for heartbreak? By following Noah into his world, the SUV sped through the night toward New York City, carrying two people who had found an unexpected connection in a small town, now headed toward a confrontation neither of them was prepared for. 3 hours later, they arrived at Noah's penthouse, apartment overlooking Central Park. As the elevator doors opened directly into his foyer, Leah gasped at the view through the floor-to-ceiling windows. "This is where you live?" she asked, taking in the spacious, elegantly decorated space. "One of my places," Noah admitted, suddenly self-conscious about the obvious display of wealth. "The guest room is through here. It has its own bathroom." He showed her to a beautifully appointed bedroom that was larger than Leah's entire apartment above her bookstore. "This is a lot to take in," Leah said, setting her bag down carefully. "I know it's different from Pine Grove," Noah said. "But it's just a place. It doesn't change who I am, who we are together." Leah gave him a small smile. "I hope you're right." They were interrupted by Noah's phone ringing. It was James. "You made it back to the city?" James asked when Noah answered. "Just got in. Is Victoria still in Pine Grove?" "No, she figured out you'd gone and came back to the city too." "Noah, I think she's planning something for the gala tomorrow night. Her assistant was making calls about press coverage." Noah sighed. "Of course she is. Everything's a performance with her." After ending the call, he turned to Leah. "We should get some rest. Tomorrow's going to be challenging." "The famous charity gala your father mentioned?" Leah asked. Noah nodded. "It's a big deal. And now it seems Victoria is planning to create some kind of scene there." "What do you want to do?" Leah asked. "I have to go. The Sinclair family has hosted this event for decades. But you don't have to come. It might get uncomfortable." Leah straightened her shoulders. "I came to New York to see your world, Noah. The good and the bad. I'm not going to hide in your guest room while you face your ex-fiancée alone." Noah felt a wave of gratitude. "Thank you. But there's one problem. It's a formal event. Do you have a gown?" Leah laughed. "In my overnight bag? No. The most formal thing I own is the black dress I wore to dinner." "We'll go shopping tomorrow," Noah decided. "There's a boutique that can handle rush alterations." The next morning, after a quick breakfast, Noah took Leah to an exclusive boutique on Fifth Avenue. The salespeople fawned over him, clearly recognizing the Sinclair name. They brought out gown after gown for Leah to try on, each more extravagant than the last. "These dresses cost more than my car," Leah whispered to Noah when the saleswoman stepped away. "I can't let you spend this kind of money on me." "Consider it a loan," Noah said. "And it's not just for you. It's for me too. I need a beautiful woman on my arm to help me face Victoria tonight." Leah gave him a skeptical look. "I'm not sure I can compete with her in the beauty department." "You're not competing," Noah said firmly. "You're completely different people. And for what it's worth, when I look at you, I see something I never saw in Victoria: authenticity." After trying on several gowns, Leah finally emerged in a deep emerald silk that complemented her brown eyes and chestnut hair perfectly. It was elegant, but not ostentatious, striking the perfect balance between sophisticated and natural. "That's the one," Noah said, his voice soft with admiration. As evening approached, Leah grew noticeably nervous. Noah found her in the guest room, already dressed in the emerald gown, staring out the window at the city lights. "Second thoughts?" he asked gently. Leah turned to him. "A few. I feel like I'm way out of my depth here, Noah. Your world is so different from mine." Noah, handsome in his tuxedo, crossed the room to stand beside her. "Remember what you told me in Pine Grove? That I don't have to choose between being Noah Sinclair, CEO, and the man you got to know there? That I can be both?" Leah nodded. "Well, the same is true for you here. You don't have to be anyone other than Leah Carter, the woman, who runs a beautiful bookstore and sees people for who they really are." Leah smiled, some of the tension leaving her shoulders. "When did you get so wise?" "I had a good teacher," Noah replied. offering her his arm. "Ready to face the lions in their den?" "As ready as I'll ever be," Leah said, taking his arm. The limousine delivered them to the Plaza Hotel, where red carpet had been laid out for the arrivals. Photographers lined the entrance, flashbulbs going off continuously as the city's elite made their way inside. When Noah stepped out of the car with Leah, the photographers surged forward, calling his name. This was the first public appearance of the jilted groom since the wedding disaster. "Stay close to me," Noah murmured to Leah, who looked overwhelmed by the attention. As they walked the red carpet, Noah could hear the whispers. "Who is she?" "That's not Victoria." "Where did he find her?" Inside the grand ballroom, the event was in full swing. Hundreds of New York's wealthiest and most influential people mingled, sipping champagne and admiring the elaborate decorations. Noah felt Leah's hand tighten on his arm as they entered. He led her through the crowd, introducing her to those he couldn't avoid, keeping the conversations brief. Then he spotted his parents across the room. William and Eleanor Sinclair were holding court with a group of business associates. His mother noticed him first, her face lighting up with relief. She hurried over, his father following more slowly. "Noah," Eleanor embraced him. "We were so worried about you." "I'm fine, Mother," Noah said, returning her hug before turning to Leah. "I'd like you to meet Leah Carter. Leah, these are my parents, William and Eleanor Sinclair." Eleanor smiled warmly, but William's gaze was cool and assessing as he looked Leah over. "Miss Carter," William said with a formal nod. "I wasn't aware Noah was bringing a guest tonight." "It was a last-minute decision," Noah explained, feeling a familiar tension at his father's disapproving tone. "Well, any friend of Noah's is welcome," Eleanor said smoothly, trying to defuse the awkwardness. "How did you two meet?" Before Leah could answer, a buzz ran through the crowd. Noah turned to see Victoria entering the ballroom, looking stunning in a designer red gown. The reporter who had accompanied her to Pine Grove was just a few steps behind, notepad in hand. Victoria spotted Noah immediately and began making her way toward him, a determined smile on her face. "Brace yourself," Noah muttered to Leah. "The show is about to begin." Victoria Hartwell glided across the ballroom like a woman on a mission, her red gown drawing every eye in the room. Behind her, the society reporter scribbled notes frantically, clearly sensing a juicy story unfolding. Noah felt Leah stiffen beside him as Victoria approached. "Noah, darling," Victoria said, her voice carrying just enough to ensure nearby guests could hear. "You're a hard man to track down these days, Victoria," Noah replied coolly. "I wasn't expecting to see you here." Victoria's practiced smile didn't waver. "Your father was kind enough to ensure my invitation wasn't rescinded. After all, our families have supported this charity for years." Noah's father stepped forward. "Victoria, you look lovely as always." "Thank you, William," she said warmly, before turning her attention to Leah. "And who is your friend, Noah?" Before Noah could answer, Leah extended her hand. "I'm Leah Carter. It's nice to meet you, Victoria." Victoria barely touched Leah's hand. "Carter? I don't believe I know the Carter family." "You wouldn't," Leah said simply. "I own a bookstore in Pine Grove." Victoria's eyebrows shot up. "A bookstore? How quaint." She turned back to Noah. "Noah, could we speak privately? Just for a moment?" Noah shook his head. "Anything you have to say can be said here." Victoria glanced meaningfully at the reporter hovering nearby, then back at Noah. "Please, 5 minutes is all I ask." Noah looked at Leah, who nodded slightly. "It's okay," she said softly. "I'll be fine." 5 minutes, Noah agreed reluctantly. "No more." He followed Victoria to a quiet corner of the ballroom, aware of the curious glances from the other guests. "What is this about, Victoria?" he asked, once they were relatively alone. "The dramatic entrance, the reporter following you around, what are you playing at?" Victoria's composed facade cracked slightly. "It's not a game, Noah. I made a terrible mistake." "Which mistake would that be?" "Leaving me at the altar? Or running straight to Ryan Patterson afterward?" Victoria had the grace to look embarrassed. "I panicked. The wedding, the commitment, it all became overwhelming. Ryan was familiar, safe. But it was a mistake. We broke up 2 days ago. And now you're back, Noah said flatly. How convenient. I know how this looks, Victoria said, reaching for his hand. But I've realized what I threw away. We were good together, Noah. Our families, our social circles, everything fits. We can put this unfortunate incident behind us and start fresh. Noah pulled his hand away. There is no we anymore, Victoria. You made your choice. People make mistakes, she insisted. Surely you can understand that. The press loves a reconciliation story. We could announce it tonight, give them something positive to report instead of dwelling on the wedding that wasn't. Noah stared at her in disbelief. That's what this is about, fixing your public image. It's about fixing us, Victoria countered. Don't tell me you've fallen for that small-town girl after a few days. What could she possibly offer you that I can't? She doesn't belong in our world, Noah. Noah looked across the room to where Leah stood talking with his mother. Even in the designer gown, she looked different from the other women there. Less polished perhaps, but more genuine. While she was clearly out of her element, she carried herself with quiet dignity. You're wrong, he said quietly. She belongs wherever she chooses to be. And right now she's chosen to be here with me. Victoria's expression hardened. Don't be naive. She's with you because you're Noah Sinclair. Do you think she'd look twice at you if you were just another tourist? Passing through her little town? The question struck a nerve. It was the same doubt that had plagued Noah since meeting Leah. Would she care about him if he weren't wealthy and powerful? Your 5 minutes are up, Noah said, turning to walk away. Victoria grabbed his arm. Wait, the reporter wants a statement from both of us. I've already suggested we're discussing a reconciliation. You did what? Noah pulled away from her grip. Victoria, there is no reconciliation. It's over. It was over the moment you left me standing at the altar. Don't make a scene, Victoria hissed, glancing around at the nearby guests. Think about how this looks. I don't care how it looks, Noah replied. For once in my life, I'm more concerned with how it feels. And this, us, feels wrong. He walked away, leaving Victoria fuming. As he made his way back to Leah, the reporter intercepted him. Mr. Sinclair, is it true you and Miss Hartwell are considering a reconciliation? Noah stopped, aware that his answer would be in every gossip column by morning. He looked past the reporter to where Leah was watching him, her expression a mixture of concern and trust. No, he said clearly. Victoria and I are not reconciling. Our relationship is firmly in the past. The reporter scribbled frantically. And the woman you brought tonight, Leah Carter, is it? Is she your new girlfriend? Noah hesitated, not wanting to put a label on whatever was growing between them. Miss Carter is someone very special to me. That's all I have to say for now. He continued toward Leah, who had been joined by James. His friend gave him a questioning look as he approached. Everything okay? James asked. Better than okay, Noah answered, feeling as though a weight had been lifted from his shoulders. Victoria wanted a public reconciliation. I declined. Good for you, James said with approval. She's been working the room, telling everyone it was just pre-wedding jitters and you two are working things out. Well, we're not, Noah said firmly. Leah, I'm sorry about that. Don't apologize, Leah said, touching his arm gently. You handled it well from what I could see. My son has always been diplomatic, Eleanor Sinclair said, rejoining them. Even as a child, he could diffuse tense situations. Unlike his father, James muttered, making Leah smile. Speaking of his father, Noah noticed William Sinclair in deep conversation with the reporter who had been following Victoria. The older man's expression was stormy. Excuse me, Noah said. I need to have a word with my father. He crossed the room quickly, arriving just as the reporter walked away. What was that about? Noah asked. William's jaw was tight. Damage control. That reporter was about to run with Victoria's version of events, that you two were reconciling. I made it clear that wasn't the case. Noah was surprised. I thought you wanted me to get back together with Victoria. I wanted what was best for the family and the company, William corrected. Victoria showed her true colors when she left you at the altar. A Sinclair deserves better than that. For the first time in years, Noah felt a moment of genuine connection with his father. Thank you, William nodded stiffly. This Leah woman, Your mother seems to like her." Coming from William Sinclair, this was practically a ringing endorsement. "I like her too," Noah said simply. "She's not what I would have chosen for you," his father admitted. "But I've been wrong before." Before Noah could reply, a commotion near the main entrance caught everyone's attention. Victoria was having a very public argument with Ryan Patterson, who had apparently crashed the gala. "You said it was over between you two," Ryan shouted, gesturing toward Noah. "But the minute we have a fight, you run back to him." Victoria looked mortified as every guest turned to stare. "Ryan, stop it. You're making a scene." "I'm making a scene?" Ryan laughed bitterly. "You're the one who told the press you were getting back together with your ex." The reporter who had been following Victoria was frantically taking notes, clearly delighted by this new development. "Perhaps we should give them some privacy," Noah suggested to the room at large, trying to defuse the situation, but Ryan had spotted him. "Sinclair, did she tell you we were engaged?" "That's right. She said yes to me 3 days after leaving you at the altar." A collective gasp went through the crowd. Victoria's face turned as red as her dress. "Ryan, please," she begged. "Not here." "Why not here?" Ryan demanded. "You love an audience, that's why you left Sinclair at the altar instead of breaking it off privately. That's why you made sure the press knew when you came crawling back to him." Security personnel were moving toward Ryan, but the damage was done. Victoria's carefully constructed image was crumbling before everyone's eyes. Noah felt a hand slip into his. Leah was beside him, her presence calming. "Let's step outside for a moment," she suggested quietly. "Give them some space to deal with this." Noah nodded gratefully, and they slipped out onto a terrace overlooking the city. The night air was cool and refreshing after the tension inside. "I'm sorry you had to witness that," Noah said as they stood at the railing. "Don't be," Leah replied. "I think it was important for you to see." "How so?" "It shows you made the right choice," Leah said simply, "in refusing to reconcile with her." Noah looked out at the city lights. "To be honest, there was a moment when I wondered if I should. Not because I still have feelings for her, but because it would have been easier, expected, the path of least resistance." "The easy path rarely leads anywhere worth going," Leah said softly. Noah turned to look at her. In the moonlight, with the city glittering behind her, she looked beautiful. Not in the polished, perfect way Victoria did, but in a real, warm way that touched his heart. "How did you get so wise?" he asked with a small smile. "Books," Leah replied with a grin. "I read a lot, remember?" They both laughed, the tension of the evening dissolving. "Thank you for coming with me tonight," Noah said. "I know this isn't your world. It's been educational," Leah admitted, "though I think I prefer Pine Grove." "So do I," Noah said, surprising himself with the realization. Pine Grove felt more like home in 3 days than New York has in years. Inside, they could hear the orchestra starting up for dancing. The drama with Victoria and Ryan had apparently been contained, the gala continuing as planned. "Would you like to dance?" Noah asked, offering his hand. "I'm not very good at it," Leah warned him. "Neither am I," Noah confessed. "I always stepped on Victoria's toes. She hated it." Leah took his hand. "I promise not to complain if you step on mine." They returned to the ballroom, where couples were already dancing. Noah led Leah onto the floor, pulling her gently into his arms. She fit against him perfectly, and they moved together to the music, not with technical precision but with a natural harmony. From across the room, Noah saw Victoria watching them, her expression a mixture of anger and regret. Ryan had apparently been escorted out. She turned away when she caught Noah's eye. "Your ex-fiancée is watching us," Leah murmured. "Let her watch," Noah replied. "I'm exactly where I want to be." As they danced, Noah found himself thinking about the future. Would Leah want to stay in New York? Would she be happy here? Could he divide his time between the city and Pine Grove? For the first time in his life, he was considering rearranging his priorities around something other than business or family expectations. "What are you thinking about?" Leah asked, noticing his distraction. "Us," Noah answered honestly. "What happens after tonight?" "I go back to Pine Grove tomorrow," Leah reminded him gently. To my bookstore and my life there. Noah nodded. And I have responsibilities here, but I don't want this to end. It doesn't have to, Leah said. Pine Grove is only a few hours away. Long-distance relationships are hard, Noah said. So is running a bookstore, Leah countered with a smile. But some things are worth the effort. The music ended and Noah led Leah off the dance floor. James approached them looking apologetic. Sorry to interrupt, but Senator Matthews is asking to speak with you, Noah. It's about the hotel project in Washington. Noah looked torn. This was an important business connection, but he didn't want to leave Leah alone. Go, Leah encouraged him. I'll be fine. I saw a dessert table that was calling my name anyway. I'll be quick, Noah promised, squeezing her hand before following James. Leah made her way to the dessert table, admiring the elaborate pastries and chocolates. As she reached for a strawberry tart, a voice spoke beside her. He'll break your heart, you know. Leah turned to find Victoria standing there, her perfect makeup slightly smudged from crying. Excuse me? Leah said. Noah, Victoria clarified. He's not capable of putting someone else first. His work will always come before you. Leah considered the beautiful, bitter woman before her. Is that why you left him at the altar? Because he put work first? Victoria laughed humorlessly. I left him because we made better business partners than lovers. The Sinclair Hartwell merger looked good on paper, but there was no passion. I thought Ryan could give me that. And did he? Leah asked. For about 5 minutes, Victoria admitted. Then I realized I'd traded steady boredom for chaotic drama. Not much of an upgrade. She studied Leah carefully. What do you see in Noah? The question caught Leah off guard. I see a kind man who's been living his life according to others' expectations. Someone who has depth and warmth that he rarely gets to show. Victoria seemed surprised by the answer. Well, maybe you know a different Noah than I did. For your sake, I hope so. She picked up a chocolate truffle. Enjoy the gala, bookstore girl, and enjoy Noah while you can. As Victoria walked away, Eleanor Sinclair approached. Don't let her bother you, Noah's mother said kindly. Victoria always did have a flair for drama. I'm fine, Leah assured her. She just gave me something to think about. Eleanor took a small plate and selected a pastry. You know, I've watched my son with you tonight. He seems lighter, more himself. He's a good man, Leah said. Yes, he is, Eleanor agreed. But he doesn't always remember that. His father and I, well, we've pushed him hard, expected perfection. Sometimes I worry we've made him forget how to just be happy. She looked directly at Leah. He seems happy with you. We've only known each other a short time, Leah pointed out. Sometimes that's all it takes, Eleanor said with a small smile. William and I got engaged after knowing each other for 3 weeks. 53 years later, here we are. She patted Leah's hand. I'm not trying to pressure you. I just wanted you to know that you have a friend in this room, regardless of what happens between you and Noah. Leah was touched by the unexpected kindness. Thank you. Across the room, Noah was concluding his conversation with Senator Matthews when his father joined them. The senator tells me you've convinced him about the rooftop garden for the Washington property, William said after the politician moved on. Good work. It was the right design choice, Noah replied. Environmentally and aesthetically, William nodded. I agree. I wouldn't have thought of it, though. He paused. You've been making some interesting choices lately. Noah tensed, expecting criticism, such as refusing to reconcile with Victoria. Bringing Miss Carter tonight, William sipped his scotch, standing your ground on the Washington design. All choices I'm comfortable with, Noah said carefully. As you should be, his father surprised him by saying, You're the CEO now, not me. It's time I remembered that. Noah stared at his father, wondering if he'd heard correctly. You've never had a problem reminding me of my responsibilities before. Perhaps I've focused too much on the responsibilities and not enough on the authority that comes with the position, William admitted. Your mother has been telling me for years that I need to let you run the company your way. And you're finally listening to her, Noah asked skeptically. Let's just say recent events have been illuminating. William looked across the room to where Leah was chatting with Eleanor. That young woman of yours, she has good instincts. When Victoria was making a scene, she suggested you step outside rather than engage. That was the right call. Yes, it was, Noah agreed, still trying to process this new, almost approving version of his father. Don't look so shocked, William said dryly. I'm capable of admitting when I'm wrong. Rarely, but it happens. He finished his drink. Now go rescue your date from your mother before Eleanor starts showing her baby pictures of you. Noah made his way back to Leah, who was indeed looking at something on Eleanor's phone and laughing. Should I be worried? He asked as he approached. Your mother was just showing me pictures of your first business venture, a lemonade stand when you were 6, Leah said, her eyes twinkling. Apparently you charged extra for premium cups. Entrepreneurial from the start, Eleanor said proudly, patting her son's cheek. I'll leave you two alone now. Leah, it was lovely talking with you. As Eleanor walked away, Noah took Leah's hand. Ready to get out of here? We've made our appearance, fulfilled our social obligation. We can go if you want. Are you sure? Leah asked. This is your family's event, and I've done my part, Noah assured her. Besides, there's somewhere I'd like to take you. After saying goodnight to his parents and James, Noah led Leah outside where his driver was waiting. They slipped into the back of the car, both relieved to be away from the crowd and the drama. Where are we going? Leah asked as they drove. Through the city. Somewhere special to me, Noah replied. Somewhere few people know about. 20 minutes later, the car pulled up in front of a nondescript building in a quieter part of the city. Noah led Leah inside and up to the 3rd floor, where he unlocked a door to reveal a cozy apartment. Unlike his penthouse, with its impressive views and expensive furnishings, this place was warm and lived in. Bookshelves lined the walls, filled with well-read volumes. A comfortable sofa faced a small fireplace. The kitchen was small but functional. What is this place? Leah asked, running her fingers along the spines of books on a nearby shelf. My real home, Noah said simply. I bought this apartment when I was in college. It was all I could afford at the time. When I started making real money, my father insisted I buy the penthouse, said it was more appropriate for a Sinclair. But I kept this place. It's where I come when I need to remember who I really am. Leah looked around with new understanding. It's wonderful. It feels like you. No one knows about this place except James, Noah admitted. Not my parents, not Victoria, no one. Until me, Leah said softly. Until you, Noah agreed, taking her hands in his. I wanted you to see it because I want you to know the real me. Not just Noah Sinclair, CEO, or even the man you met in Pine Grove, the whole me. Leah's eyes were warm as she looked up at him. I'd like that very much. Noah gently pulled her closer. Leah, I know we've only known each other a short time, but I've never felt this way before. With you, I can just be myself, no pretenses, no expectations. I feel the same way, Leah admitted. But Noah, our lives are so different. You're here. I'm in Pine Grove. You run a global company, I run a small bookstore. Details, Noah said dismissively. Important details, yes, but not insurmountable ones. He touched her cheek gently. We'll figure it out. If you want to, that is. I do, Leah said with certainty. I just don't want either of us to change who we are or give up what matters to us. We won't, Noah promised. We'll find a way to make it work. I can spend part of my time in Pine Grove. You can visit me here. We'll build something that works for both of us. It won't be easy, Leah warned. The best things rarely are, Noah replied, echoing her words from earlier that night. He leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull away if she wanted. But Leah moved toward him, meeting him halfway as their lips finally met in a gentle kiss that quickly deepened with the feelings that had been building between them since that first day in the bookstore. When they finally broke apart, both a little breathless, Noah rested his forehead against Leah's. Stay with me, he whispered. Not just tonight. Stay in New York a few more days. Let me show you my world, the real parts of it, not just the fancy galas and penthouses. Leah hesitated. The bookstore. Call Elena again, Noah suggested. Ask if she can cover for a few more days. I'll fly you back myself when you need to go. Leah smiled. You're very persuasive, Mr. Sinclair. Is that a yes? Noah asked hopefully. Yes, Leah agreed, but only if you promise to visit Pine Grove soon. The lake is even more beautiful in the morning light. It's a deal, Noah said, sealing it with another kiss. The next few days were a blur of happiness as Noah showed Leah his favorite places in the city, not the tourist attractions or exclusive restaurants, but the hidden gems he'd discovered over the years. They walked through Central Park in the early morning mist, browsed in tiny bookshops in forgotten corners of the city, and ate at hole-in-the-wall restaurants with the best food Leah had ever tasted. In the evenings, they returned to Noah's secret apartment, talking for hours about books, dreams, and their very different lives. With each passing day, they found more common ground, more reasons to believe that what they had found together was worth fighting for. When it was finally time for Leah to return to Pine Grove, Noah kept his promise and flew her back himself, borrowing a friend's small plane. "You're full of surprises," Leah said as they soared above the clouds. "I didn't know you could fly." "There's still a lot we don't know about each other," Noah pointed out. "That's the adventure." As they landed at the small regional airport near Pine Grove, Noah felt a strange mixture of sadness and anticipation. He would miss Leah terribly, but he was already planning his return trip. "When will I see you again?" Leah asked as they drove toward her bookstore. "I have meetings I can't reschedule for the next 2 weeks," Noah said regretfully. "But after that, I'm all yours for a long weekend." 2 weeks, Leah repeated. "We can handle that. And there's always phone calls and video chats," Noah reminded her, "though it won't be the same." When they reached the bookstore, Leah unlocked the door, breathing in the familiar scent of books and coffee. "Home sweet home," she said with a smile. Noah looked around the cozy space that had changed his life. It really is. They spent the afternoon together, Leah checking on everything while Noah helped her restock shelves and set up a new display. When evening came, he reluctantly prepared to leave, needing to fly back before dark. "These past few days have been the best of my life," Noah said as they stood outside the bookstore, reluctant to say goodbye. "Mine too," Leah agreed, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "But this isn't an ending. It's just a pause." Noah pulled her into his arms. "The first of many pauses in a very long story, I hope." "The best stories have chapters where the characters are apart," Leah said. "It builds anticipation for when they're together again." "Always the book lover," Noah said with a tender smile. "Always," Leah agreed, standing on tiptoe to kiss him goodbye. As Noah drove back to the airport, he reflected on the incredible turn his life had taken. The day Victoria had left him at the altar had seemed like the worst day of his life. Now, he saw it for what it truly was, the beginning of a much better story. Back in New York, work consumed Noah's days, but his evenings were filled with long phone calls with Leah. They talked about everything and nothing, learning each other's histories, dreams, and daily lives. True to his word, Noah returned to Pine Grove 2 weeks later, and then again the following month. Leah visited New York when she could arrange coverage for the bookstore. With each visit, their bond grew stronger. 6 months after they met, Noah was sitting in a board meeting when a proposal for a new boutique hotel came across his desk. The location caught his eye immediately, a lakefront property just outside Pine Grove. That evening, he called Leah with excitement in his voice. "How would you feel about having a Sinclair hotel in Pine Grove?" "Are you serious?" Leah asked. "Isn't Pine Grove a little small for your usual properties?" "We've been looking to develop a line of smaller, more intimate boutique hotels," Noah explained. "And there's this perfect property by the lake, the one you showed me that first day. Noah Sinclair, are you building a hotel in my town just so you have an excuse to visit more often?" Leah teased. "Partially," Noah admitted with a laugh. "But it's also a sound business decision. That area is perfect for a retreat-style property. And..." He hesitated. "And what?" Leah prompted. "And it would give me a reason to spend at least half my time there. With you." Leah was silent for a moment. "Noah, are you saying what I think you're saying?" "I'm saying I love you, Leah Carter," Noah said, the words coming easily. "I think I've loved you since that day you recommended The Great Alone, and saw nothing but another human being who needed a good book. I love you too," Leah said, her voice full of emotion. "But a hotel is a big commitment." Not as big as the commitment I want to make to you, Noah replied. The hotel is just a practical solution to the geography problem. The real question is, do you think you could share your life with me, not just weekends and phone calls, but a real life together? Are you proposing? Leah asked, half joking, half serious. Not yet, Noah said honestly. When I do, it won't be over the phone, but I am asking if you're open to the possibility, to building something permanent together. Yes, Leah said without hesitation. I am definitely open to the possibility. 1 year after Victoria had said no at the altar, Noah stood at the edge of the lake in Pine Grove, watching the sun set over the water. Beside him, Leah was skipping stones across the calm surface. 5 skips, she exclaimed as her stone bounced across the water. Beat that, city boy. Noah laughed and tried his own stone, which sank immediately. I concede defeat. Smart man, Leah said, slipping her hand into his. The boutique hotel was under construction on the other side of the lake, its eco-friendly design already taking shape. Noah had opened a small satellite office in Pine Grove, allowing him to split his time between there and New York. The commute wasn't always easy, but they made it work. Leah's bookstore was thriving, having gained attention as the favorite haunt of a certain hotel magnate. She had hired a full-time assistant to help when she visited Noah in New York. I have something for you, Noah said, reaching into his pocket. It's our anniversary, 1 year since we met. And what an incredible year it's been, Leah said, accepting the small gift box he handed her. Inside was a delicate silver bookmark engraved with the words, "Every love story is beautiful, but ours is my favorite." Oh, Noah, Leah said, running her finger over the engraving. It's perfect. There's something else, Noah said, suddenly nervous. He took the bookmark from her and turned it over. On the back was engraved a single question. Will you marry me? When Leah looked up from reading it, Noah was down on one knee, holding a ring, not an ostentatious diamond like Victoria's had been, but a unique emerald that matched both Leah's eyes and the gown she had worn to the gala. Leah Carter, this past year has shown me what true love really is. It's not about society expectations or business connections. It's about finding the person who sees you for who you really are and loves you anyway. You've given me a home, not in a place, but in your heart. Will you marry me? Tears filled Leah's eyes as she nodded. Yes, Noah. Yes, I will. As he slipped the ring onto her finger and pulled her into his arms for a kiss, Noah thought about the journey that had brought them to this moment. Victoria's no at the altar had felt like the end of his world. But it had actually been the beginning of something far better. A love based on truth, understanding, and genuine connection. Sometimes, he realized, what seems like your worst moment can actually be the first step toward your greatest happiness. All you need is the courage to keep moving forward, one page at a time. The sun set over the lake, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, as Noah and Leah began writing the next chapter of their story together.